Back with another edition. This one is about small business versus big business and lessons we can learn from big business that affect small business. In most ways, small business is very, very different than big business. But I'm going to tell kind of a big business story today, and it's one from my own personal experience. Side note about Neil, I'm kind of a technology guy. I'm fascinated by technologies, and obviously AI is shaping a lot of what we do. It's 2025. And if you're not on AI, you're missing out. The ship has sailed. AI is here to stay with us. And it reminded me of something that's just nobody saw happening. People are worried about losing jobs to AI. And what I'm talking about very specifically is what's going on with Google, right? So the internet started in the 90s is when we started adapting it. Now it's in the 20s. So we're looking at 30 plus years, 30, maybe 35 years of a internet maturing. And I don't know about you, but for the last at least 20 years, 25 years, it's just been Google. Google, Google, Google. All we do is Google. And I know there's other search engines out there that we can use. And I understand that Google, we are the product of Google. I get all of that. But most of us use Google to search for information. But me personally, I switched to searching with AI several months ago. One of my favorite podcasts, this is Intelligent Machines by Leo Laporte. It used to be called This Week in Google. They changed their show to be called Intelligent Machines. I highly recommend it. But they were talking about this phenomenon called Google Zero. What's Google Zero? Well, I mentioned I kind of started searching with AI a few months ago, and then just something happened in the news. This is not political, but it's a little bit political, the nature of the world we live in. But Charlie Kirk was shot, and I heard something on the news about how his last words were ironic, and I wanted to know what was it that he said that was it was ironic that he said that. So I googled it. I wanted to actually chat GPT it, but I googled it, and my experience was what were Charlie Kirk's last words? And Google did a great job. In point zero something seconds, it gave me, thousands of results. But unfortunately, the results were several different articles, and I had to scroll through and pick one that was close to what were Charlie Kirk's last words. I didn't actually find an article that directly answered that question. And then when I opened that article, that website, it was a big ad, paragraph, find out what Charlie Kirk's last words were, keep scrolling down, we're going to tell you, add. Boom, this is what the answer was. I think I found the answer. And I'm like, well, that was just a horrible experience. And then I literally just asked my phone. I opened Siri and I specifically told it to use chat. Siri's responding here. And I asked the same question. Boom, this was his last words. It was ironic. And I realized Google Zero. Like, that may have been the last time that I, Neil Isaacs, Google something in that way. That's Google Zero. So, where is this long story coming from, and how does it relate to small business? Well, Google dominated for a couple decades minimum with search and with browser. By the way, that's the other thing that was about this podcast. They're talking about Chrome is going to be disrupted by Perplexity and other browsers that are AI driven. Google's going to be just fine. Don't worry about Google. Google just survived this lawsuit with the ironically named Judge Meta, not the Facebook Meta. But I diverge. Google Zero is happening. People are using Google. If you look at a graph, it's a precipitous drop because people are using AI. They're using Grok, ChatGPT, Perplexity, all the new engines. And Google is catching up with Gemini, but they're behind. So what does this mean for small business? It means that if you're making money and things are good, even if things have been good for a long time, there's always some young whippersnapper out there. There's always some huge fundamental shift that can disrupt your business model. If you rely on your business for your living to support your family, don't assume it's going to just keep going the way that it is. I remember thinking before AI, if you were on the highway and you're driving your car and you look around, there's all different cars out there. There's a million different brands and models and colors and shapes and sizes. But if the highway was internet selections, it would be like 90 something percent of us all driving the same car. How weird would that be? That was the stranglehold that Google had as a dominant market leader. I read something like 80% of browsers are currently Chrome. And again, search as well. It's all shifting super quick. So if you're a small business owner, think about the trends that are coming that we don't even know about. Nobody saw COVID coming. AI was talked about, but seemed like it just happened right away when it finally hit the retail sector. So what are the changes that could disrupt your business? I can't tell you how many businesses I've seen that were crushing it. And then the owner got a little bit older, took their foot off the pedal a little bit, saw some change coming, just said, not going to happen. In my MBA, we did a study on Blockbuster. They had a chance to buy Netflix. And you know what they said? They did an internal study and they said, you know what? People like to come to our stores and peruse aisles and pick out a cassette. They're not going to stream online. That's never going to happen. Where's Blockbuster today? When we did that study, that was a long time ago. It was before they had filed for bankruptcy. There's a lot of examples of disruption happening. How could it affect your business? These are the musings of a business intermediary, just seeing a lot of owners in different situations. And I think it's interesting when you see it at a macro scale. What are your thoughts? Share in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on disruption in technology and how it affects big and small business. So thanks for watching. I'm Neil Isaacs. Until next time, I'll holla.